Hi guys, thank you for watching. If you're keen to finally get on top of where your money's going every month, please keep watching and I'll talk you through the processes I use to get control of my salary every month. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and leave a comment. I must warn you, I am not a financial advisor, so please don't sue me if you do end up losing all your money. Now, before we start going through the processes that I use every month, I think it's time we have an X Factor style sob story. So, whilst at university, I opened a new bank account with a £1,500 overdraft. And that's where the problems really started from. So at university, I would go into town to have lunch every day. I bought a new bike, many nights out in town, new games consoles, electronics, a holiday. I knew there was a problem there, I knew I had money to pay back. I ignored the whole thing. And then finally one day at home, I was living at home at the time, I had a letter through the post. It was a debt collector saying that I had, I think it was 28 days to pay the full amount off. And so I had 28 days to pay it back before they came and started taking possessions out of the house. Well, it was my mum's house, it wasn't my house. So that scared the crap out of me. So in a very panicked state, I called the debt collectors back, and that wasn't easy. That sort of went from me having very little money left over at the end of the month to having absolutely no money whatsoever. So that whole process, it did end up teaching me a very valuable lesson. Banking apps are great, but many years ago they were a bit pants. So I wanted to come up with a system that would help me track and manage not just the money I had that month, but also being able to plan ahead and see what my money was going to do and how I could pay off debts and how my savings would look. So we're now going to take a look at what I do on a monthly basis to try and get control of everything. So, as you can tell from my accent, I'm obviously English, there will be no talk about 401ks in this video. My pension contributions are deducted from my salary before the money actually gets into my bank account. So what I probably should do, now I'm thinking about this out loud, is create a separate section where I can actually show and map my pension contributions as the months go on, how that increases. But that's kind of a long goal, it's a long time in the future, so I'm not sure it really wants that. But I've got my my finances broken down into three main sections really. So the first one here is household. Now what we have is rent up here. If you're in a relationship, probably what's likely to happen is your general household items will be split in half. It's kind of how this has been laid out here. You've got obviously your rent, mortgage, council tax, unfortunately there's no getting away from that. You've got then down here your utilities, and look at that, they all happen to come out on the first of every month, useful. There's a car loan in there. The reason why that's under household is all of these are kind of really long-term financial commitments that don't change, so it's just easier and tidier just to pop that there. At the bottom here we've then got all the fun grown-up stuff, critical illness, life insurance. When you start getting into things like mortgages, I can't remember if it's one or two of these things you need to have, but anyway, they're there. Wage, just a generic figure. Quite a lot of these figures are just generically pumped in here just to put some data in. Right, so we move down now to the second section, which is titled Nationwide. That's because it comes out of a nationwide account, and this is where I kind of deal with savings, any subscriptions I have. So as you can see here, I have a nationwide savings account at a 0.01% interest rate, which is doing absolutely nothing. In fact, at that rate, I'd probably end up actually owing them money myself. I have a separate savings account with Lloyd's, and I transfer money across every month into that pot there. Two subscription services I currently pay for, Amazon Prime and Now TV Sky Sports Month Pass. Credit card goes in there as well. I had a few purchases I made before Christmas as we were moving as well, so that all went on the credit card. So in a few months that gets paid off. I had a 18-month introductory period of 0% APR on a credit card, so I took advantage of that. Obviously what's quite key is just keep in mind when that introductory offer ends, you don't want to go over top of that and start incurring fees. So it's a good idea just to keep on top of that and be aware of when that expires. One of the last sections we have is what I call allowance. Now this goes off to a Lloyd's account. I have a separate Lloyd's debit card for this. So this is my kind of day-to-day items. So you've got obviously your food shopping here, Money spent on fuel. This was in December, so we've got a few gifts that were sent out and purchased. A pre-lockdown haircut, those were the days, and then a few other bits and bobs as the month's gone on. Right at the bottom here, we have a kind of a running total, if you like. So these figures here are influenced by what happens up here. So as I put more money in, obviously this goes up, it's the point of savings. As I pay more money onto my loans and credit cards, these figures go down. Very simple. And then what happens is this rolls over to the next month and then to the next month. And so what you end up seeing is a nice little forecast of how your savings could potentially look, how your payments are coming along for your credit cards or your loan. And by the time we get to December, you can kind of see how the year's panned out and what potentially you could end up getting. Now, as you can see, credit cards all paid off, hooray. Car loans significantly decreased, as you would expect. What we're seeing here is obviously savings going up. Now, one thing to bear in mind is that life happens, shit happens. So it's always wise to have a separate savings account or contingency pot where if your car needs repair, if you need to buy a new car, or your house that you need some maintenance work on the house, that you're not kind of caught short. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're interested, I have put the file that I use as a downloadable link and I've attached it to the description, so please help yourself. I hope you've got some value, bank pun, out of this video. Stay safe and we will all speak soon.